Well, if 2023 has been nothing else, it has been an amazing introduction for me for black metal. I have been diving deep into some pretty intense and pretty gnarly stuff. And I think 2023 really went out with a bang. So, yeah, let's dive into this one. The Rime of Memory by Panopticon. So Panopticon is a new outfit for me, even though they've been around since the early 2000s, getting their debut self-titled album out in 2008 and following it up almost every year with another album, so that we're on our 10th album now. And this is a black metal band founded by Austin Lunn within Louisville, Kentucky in 2007. Yeah, you gotta love old Wikipedia for providing me with that information. Loving this stuff. This is my first encounter with the band, so I have a lot of homework on my hands. As I mentioned, this is their 10th studio album, and I just love the feeling of this record. We've got an hour and 15 minutes worth of music across 6 tracks, which means we have a number of tracks that are into the 10, 16, and even almost 20 minutes. And again, that alone, I'm sold. You got my attention. I'm going to give your album a listen when I'm seeing a runtime like that. It might be a little bit on the long side, and I think that's my biggest criticism of this album. You probably could have shaved off at least 20 minutes worth of music on this one and not really lost too much, or at least rework a little bit. But I mean, everything that's found on this album, I have really, really been digging. The first track really does open it up, and I spend a lot of my times in the woods of Muskoka. And so that first track really does transport me right there if I'm not currently experiencing it, with the loon call and the atmosphere of the woods on it. It fills my heart with joy, and the first bit of the second track of Winter's Ghost, which is the 20-minute epic, it really is this slow climb, it's reminding me of more of an acoustic post-rock, something that, say, later era of Death Heaven was using, but a lot more acoustic, almost folky inspired. And it's very ambient, it's very ethereal, until we get to that moment where it shifts, and then we're straight into that black metal, and it's intense, it's aggressive, and it's using a lot of that build-up and payoff that I so adore of this particular musical stylings. I love the overlays of the guitars, the chugging, the distortions, with the lead singer, and the intensity of the growls and the screams on there. It provides almost this counterbalance that we had with the opening of this track into this dirge into the second half of this track. And I love that build up and the payoff. This is why I come to this type of music. And the rest of the track really does go on a roller coaster of build-ups, payoffs, plateaus, dips, dives, build-ups, payoffs, plateaus, dips, and dives. And I love how this track is orchestrated. I love how this track is constructed. It provides enough wiggle room and enough kind of contrast to allow for it not to become stale or to become boring. The same can be said about the second longest track, the third track of Cedar Skeletons. And again, I'm transported into this kind of sleeping woods where it's slowly transitioning from a very deep, dark winter into the beginning stylings of the spring, where we're getting into the freezing mark. So you're starting to feel and smell the thawing of wood. And again, it's the buildups and the payoffs that I just particularly love. You got the blast beats within the drumming styles. Everything is so on point. It feels like a coil being tightened and tightened and tightened until you finally get that release. And then you have this everything coming together within the smooth stylings of vocal works, within the harmonies, while the drums are still just hammering it home. And I really appreciate and love that. The second half of the album, starting with the Autumn Storm, going into the Enduring, the Snow Drought, and then the Blue Against the White, all kind of circle the same kind of motif and the same kind of feeling. And what I particularly like about these last 3 tracks are the harmonies within the chaos. For anybody that isn't used to this style of music, it can feel very noisy, very chaotic, without too much relief on it. And I was in that camp at the beginning of this year, but now that I've had a number of moments with tracks like this, I'm starting to hear the different harmonies and the different ebbs and flows, the buildups, the payoffs, the introduction of a kind of note sequence and the paying off of it later on, kind of like the chaotic resolution that I love within this specific style of music. And the thing that I think Panopticon, specifically on this album, is so good at are the maintaining of the heavenly sounds within the chaotic maelstrom that is wrapped around it. You have these, again, the tightening of coils, that grating against the grain kind of thing, but then the final release of it and just that maintenance and the maintaining of the resolution of it, and that's what I really appreciate and love about this particular style of music, especially within the black metal genre. So yeah, even though this might not necessarily be my favorite of the entries within the black metal epics that we've had this year, this is a very strong contender. I've been having a really good time with this one. I've been loving to listen to this late at night, with especially now that we're entering that deep, darker winter, here in Ontario, Canada, where we've got a lot more of the snow that's kind of wrapping us all in with this dark blanket. I'm really, really loving the soundscapes that this album is putting out. It's almost like the perfect soundtrack, without getting into complete Christmas music. So I've been having a great time with this one, and it's one that I think will mature very well with age. And I'm really excited to see kind of how this album ferments as the years go on. But for the time being, I will say the Rime of Memory from Panopticon is one that I would ultimately download. There's some great stuff on it, and if you're a new arriver to the black metal genre, I think you can do a lot worse. I think this introduces you to a lot of the themes and a lot of the ideas of the black metal genre. I do wish that there was maybe a little bit more of the kind of big crescendos and a lot of the more realized endings on these tracks. And I do wish that this was maybe, as I mentioned, maybe about 20 minutes shorter. But other than that, I've had a great time with this one, and I think you will too. I think this is a recommendation from me. So yeah, 2 thumbs up. What did you guys think of the Rime of Memory from Panopticon? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, please let me know by commenting down below. Because, yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. So, thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.